What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me we have some more RPG horror stories. I got very exciting news. I'm finally getting more of my friends into this obsession called D&D. I mean, I'm open to trying other TTRPGs, but I'm super hyped to get more of my friends to actually try D&D. A lot of them have no experience with D&D, which means I can teach them. I can teach them my new obsession. And I'm so excited. Anyway, before I get too excited, let's get to some RPG horror stories for today. Nice guy keeps flirting and harassing player in and out of character. Does the unthinkable when he gets the chance. Hi, sorry for any grammar errors that story might have. English is not my first language. So it all started when we were playing a Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign in a Bloodborne setting. Yep, pretty edgy already, but it was pretty good to play. For a bit of background, that was our first time playing TTRPGs, and aside from our DM, we had little to no experience with the role-playing. That being said, awkwardness and straight up being a weirdo are totally different things. Our problem player, who we shall call Daniel, was a guy from our group. Recently met him and he seemed alright at first, but as soon as he started talking to one girl in particular, he began to show his true colors. He would always talk about how he never had luck with girls because he was a sensitive soul and different from those douchebag girls normally like. But we usually paid no attention to it. Oh god, that's actually cringe. It's the kind of cringe that makes me feel kind of sick to my stomach. You're a nice guy, and I get some girls like today douchebags and stuff, but if you're so nice, you don't have to talk about how nice you are. You could just be nice. I mean, it's not that difficult just to be a regular, normal person without trying to be telling people like, oh, I'm so nice and stuff. I'm so nice and caring, but all these girls just want to date these jerks and douchebags that are terrible for them. I would have been better for them because I'm so nice. If you're that nice, you don't have to talk about it. Simple as that. Nice guys really make me feel gross. I'll admit, I was a nice guy in middle school. I was like that nice guy that was like, oh, all these girls just want to date a bunch of jerks and stuff. But then somebody gave me some very honest opinion of my thought process and it quickly snapped me out of it. And now I just look at nice guys as like, really cringe. I was cringe. I am cringe. I'm cringe now. When we started playing, his character, a 14-year-old witch whose alignment was as fluid as water, instantly got attached to the girl's wizard. For simplicity, we shall call the girl Liz. At first, Liz didn't mind Daniel that much, as she thought he was just trying to be friendly IRL and do some funny RP in-game. But when he started to do things like saying he wants to be her lesbian girlfriend in-game and trying to flirt with her out of character, she got a bit annoyed. By the way, Liz has a girlfriend at the time, and everyone, he included, knew it. Already a red flag for playing a minor, that's for sure. But the second one, going after somebody when they're already together with someone, oh, that's not gonna turn out good, is it? It's not gonna turn out good. On a fateful, terrible day, we all decided to drink and play at the same time. We had lots of fun, but at the end we were pretty wasted. Liz was weak with alcohol, so she was pretty much unconscious, barely standing by herself. When we were leaving to go home, Daniel offered himself to help her get home. Mind you, he didn't even know where she lived. Oh no. We're all wasted as hell, so we agreed. Oh no. Cause Daniel was the most sober of us. Oh no. Little did we know that this was just what he wanted. On our next session, Liz was pretty silent, and in counterpart, Daniel was all giddy and happy. Oh my god, that's a... what happened? What happened? I hope you guys called police, if anything bad. I hope Liz called police if he did something really fucked up. During the session, his character would try to do weirder and weirder stuff to Liz's one, like curling her hair and hugging her from behind. Liz was having none of it. She reached a breaking point, I guess, and stormed out of the room. We had suspicion, but I talked to her to confirm, and indeed, while she was drunk, he went and abused her. Oh my god, please tell me you called the police, or at least somebody kicked the guy's ass. Holy fuck! I didn't expect this to go like out of RPGs into IRL. Jesus Christ! For some freaking reason, he thought they were together. After that and started acting as such. She said she felt like crap and blamed herself cause I could have done something. We were young and dumb, so instead of confronting him, we just cut ties with him. She grew distant from us too, sadly. To this day, I always feel bad for not doing anything, and never played RPGs again. It just feels weird, I don't know. Sorry if it wasn't interesting or something like that. I just want to tell the story to see if he could move on from the whole affair. If anybody finds himself in that sort of situation, the number one thing to do is first tell the problem player that, hey, we're not okay with this sort of behavior. If somebody's being really weird and creepy to another player, it's up to the DM and everybody else as well to call that stuff out. Because if that's happening to you, it might be a little bit difficult to, like, I don't know, tell them to off. I mean, I would have no problem with it, but not everybody is confrontational or good with confrontations. But if you see it's happening at your table to whoever, yourself or the person at the table, DM, whoever, you need to call that stuff out and tell the person to knock it off. Also, another good lesson to not have some weirdo at your table give somebody else that is completely wasted the drive to the place, because, well, it's just a really unsafe situation. Honestly, I'm so sorry that happened to Liz, honestly. If you have somebody new to your table, don't trust them immediately unless you really know them, and especially don't trust somebody that's brand new to drive your friend over, especially when they don't know where the place is. Be careful who you hang out with, especially when it comes to alcohol, because alcohol can help make some terrible decisions. It hinders your thinking, and it's just, if you're gonna drink with friends and stuff, it's fine, just drink responsibly. That's all I can say. Drink in a place that you feel safe at, without weirdos around. Am I just crazy, or were we dealing with a nightmare DM and player? My friends and I, who were the main 3 active players that showed for every single game, left the group and effectively ended the campaign, as the only player left was the problem player and the DM. That group imploded, and those of us who left went to different campaigns and no longer play with these 2. If you read through this completely, trigger warning for mentions of SA. First off, anytime the 4th other player was present, it was never fun. We'll call him Dickhead, or Richard. I like Dickhead. Total murder hobo, to the point that the entire party had been put on sort of a magical probation to ensure he couldn't just slaughter everyone that crossed his path, including us fellow party members. Dick constantly made threats of our lives, argued with us all the time, was generally a dick to the rest of the party. I was the newest player and character though, and didn't have much prior experience playing with him, so there were several times we had to come to his rescue, and the others were like, nah, screw that guy, let's abandon him. But I felt like I hadn't had enough experience with this character, and he hadn't done me wrong for my character to turn my back on him, so I would vouch for him, convince the others not to abandon our party member, only to be met with hostility and death threats from Dick when we come to his rescue. Whatever, he's an a-hole, but I could live with that a little. He just made sessions not fun. Fortunately, he couldn't make it as regularly as us main 3. Alright, so if you have a situation where you have a player already being kind of a problem and being a dickhead to everybody else, why is the DM not doing anything about it? I mean, if I'm the DM and I see that everybody else is having fun except when the 4th player, the dickhead, joins in, and dickhead is constantly being antagonistic and non-friendly both in character and out of character, and people just don't like his character or don't really enjoy having him at the table, that's kind of a red flag to basically not have Dick at the table. Because if he's only gonna be a dick, then that's a problem already as it is. People at the table should get along together, like out of character. The players at the table should always get along. Even if their characters don't get along at all times, everything that their characters do should be agreed for the players to do. If everybody is fine and okay with Richard playing his character as kind of a dickhead because they like the dynamic about it, or whatever have you, right? If they agreed ahead of time, they're like, yeah, we're okay with this guy being a bit of a dickhead as long as he becomes better and better over time, then that's fine. If everybody is cool with that and everybody plays up to it, it's fine to have antagonism and rivalry at the table between characters as long as the players that are involved in it are cool with it. If, let's say, for example, I'm playing at a table and I want to have a rivalry with another player, and that player also wants to have a rivalry with my character, and we're cool with it, and we want that sort of thing, that sort of dynamic, that's fine. Now, there's nothing wrong with having that sort of dynamic in game. But the players outside of game need to agree for that sort of thing. You can't just expect people to just be okay with your character, especially if they're going to be a dickhead. But it seems like nobody really wants to have Richard around, and nobody relaxes his character, and every single time he joins the game, he doesn't make it fun. So my question is, what is the DM doing about this? And why is the DM not seeing it as a problem and trying to, bring this up? It's obviously up to the players to bring up any sort of problems that they have at the table to the DM, but if the DM notices sort of blatant thing going on, they should probably do something about it. I don't know why my emotes are kind of broken, dude. Every single time I do my emotes, I kind of break a little. It's whatever, it's fine. Either way, the point still stands. The DM should have done something about it, especially if they're noticing this blatant antagonism and blatant dislike of Richard's character because Richard is just being a butthole to everybody. Second, the DM loved homebrew items, which is great. I love homebrew items as well, but she wouldn't read through them completely, meaning she would just end up giving us massively overpowered items. We were just knocking out dungeon crawls and challenges left and right like it was nothing. For example, my first session with them as a level 1 character, she tried to get me with a banshee. She said it was intended to nearly kill me, but she just gave me a weapon that does nearly triple radiant damage to undead. Hadn't read the details of the weapon, and when I used it, was upset the encounter didn't take that long, because the weapon she gave me without reading through to actually see what it does was basically this thing's kryptonite maxed out. She did this often enough that the entire party was super strong, and rather than throw things at us that were more our level, she stripped us of everything we had earned throughout the campaign. She brought in Richard's husband to play a one-time BBEG, and at the beginning of the fight, she literally sat back and said, "I'm gonna enjoy this. None of you will be able to win this. Run or fight back. Either way, you're going down with him." Him being an evil dickhead who, despite our valiant efforts, did capture us all, stripped us of all our belongings and our pets, which the pets were what they were furious about, and then sold us all into slavery. We were sold to a fighting arena, gladiator style, and the only way we could earn our freedom was by packing the stands 10 times. Now enter Richard, who was not enslaved with us. No, he was a popular for being a fighter himself. He's a big name in the world, so he's getting the king treatment. Okay, well, your DM clearly has a problem with balancing and looking at homebrew items. There's nothing wrong with running homebrew items, and there's nothing wrong with sometimes giving your party something powerful or overpowered, especially if it's something that can balance things out a little bit more. But if you have a problem with the DM just kind of giving unbalanced items without looking ahead of time and reading the items ahead of time and considering, is this going to make my players overpowered or just going to balance things out, you kind of have a balancing issue, and that's what the DM is experiencing, a major balancing issue. But instead of talking to your players and just letting you know that, hey, I kind of messed up, I made a mistake, I'm sorry, do you think we could retcon you having this item, the DM is going with the worst route possible by just stripping you of the items that they gave to you, being angry about you being so overpowered from the items they gave to you, and then putting you in a situation that basically screws you guys over and puts you against an unfair advantage just to remove the items they gave to you. The DM creates the problem, and they're solving the problem by taking away the items that they gave to you initially. Why is the DM giving Richard, or the dickhead, so much preferential treatment? I'm a little bit concerned about that. Like, if everybody is going to the gladiator arena, right, everybody's captured, why is Richard getting special treatment? What is going on there? I'm kind of starting to think the title for the story sort of makes sense. The problem DM and the problem player are kind of in cahoots with each other, or maybe they know each other, or they talk a lot, and therefore they kind of plan things out together. I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. But let's continue. Dig decides that he wants to pick up a tiefling girl to be his personal slave. And oh my god, guess who was playing a tiefling? Me. Guess who was the one tiefling in the stadium? Also me. They enchanted a ring on my horn so that I cannot harm him or his kin, and allow him into my cell, where he proceeds to start to act out his really forceful essay. Oh my god, please tell me the DM did something about this. Please tell... The DM didn't do anything about it, right? The DM did nothing about it. Is that what you're gonna tell me? And as it begins, we all see where this is going. The other two players I'm friends with are visibly uncomfortable, and I'm getting upset, as I had no warning that something this traumatic would be happening to my character and have been essayed in the past. So I asked the DM, is there a safe word or something? This is a little much. She tells me the safe word is down boy. Ew, DM. Like, I get if you're kinky and stuff, like maybe that's your safe word in the bedroom, but like, don't take your kinks to the game. Fucking gross. So I use it. You know what that does? It causes the enchanted ring to slam my character to the floor, face down, ass up, and Dick proceeds to act out this assault. I try to fight, but everything I did, he just healed himself with lay on hands. So I just sat back quietly and said nothing. The three of us that were good friends sat with our face in our hands, and me near tears till the player decides to leave me. Oh my god. Wait, hold on 1 second. Lay on hands? Does that mean he's a paladin? Sometimes we have stories of people playing paladin, and the paladins are the weirdos. Like, not even like regular weirdos, like, I am lawful stupid and I'll do some lawful stupid stuff. Like, creepy weirdos. Ugh, what the hell? It's like, I think maybe like a third or fourth paladin does some weird creepy stuff. Ugh, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why is the DM stopping this? Why is the DM allowing this? Why is a safe word not a safe word instead? It's a fucking trap. What is this gotcha? Dude, DM just pulled a fucking stupid ass gotcha moment because the safe word isn't actually a safe word. It's in fact a continuation, a progression to further degeneracy. What the fuck? And the fact that the DM is allowing Richard to do this kind of nasty shit. Dude, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is the DM thinking? Where's her fucking head at? Richard is a terrible dickhead, but the DM is enabling the dickhead to do the dickhead things. What are you doing, DM, you stupid idiot? Everybody at the table is literally grossed out. It doesn't feel comfortable over the situation. And the DM is just like, oh, let's continue further, because that's a great thing. Yeah, Richard, go ahead and say them. I totally support you. Everybody at the table is just grossed out, just have their hands on their head, and don't want to deal with this thing. And the player, the OP, is literally in tears because of this situation. What the fuck are you doing as a DM? How much of a failure of a DM do you have to be to not notice that the air in the room is very awkward? How do you not read the room in this situation? When I spoke to the DM about it later, I asked if I could maybe get a heads up next time something that upsetting might happen again. And she said, it's D&D. There's gotta be triggering scenes. There's nothing in the book of D&D, not of the player handbook or the DM's handbook, that says, hey, you have to traumatize your players with SA because that's what you want to do, because that's the kind of game it is. Nothing about it says like that, you motherfucker. What a fucking idiot. Where's their head at? Up their ass, probably, because they're not thinking with their head clearly. Then Richard decides he wants to take me as his wife and force me to bear children, because in this world, the child of an ASMR and a tiefling is basically the Antichrist. That is part of his grand plan to bust us out, as it turns out. He manages to get everyone else freed without assaulting their characters, so I was pretty upset that they chose to act this out with me. So I tell the DM my character is done. She's damaged and she'd rather die than be at this man's mercy, so I'm gonna have her off herself. She was not happy. She tried to text my husband actually and convince him to convince me to keep my character alive. I was adamant I would be offing my character. I was curious about what happened. Fortunately, one of my friends in the group managed to get me out of the slavery situation and kept my character alive long enough so she could leave the party and go home to her mother instead of ending her life. After all of this and countless situations with Richard that had us all begging for him to face some sort of consequences, the DM continues to protect this character and not allow anything to happen to him. Are DM and Richard a thing? Or they're both freaks with weird fetishes about essaying somebody and they're just all both on board of this degeneracy train? I literally have no idea why these two are working together in such a twisted manner, and why DM is protecting Richard's character of all things. This doesn't make sense to me. After all that, the reason we all left in the end was because our 30-year-old DM flipped her lid. Not once, but twice, over not being able to play. Us players are all working 20-somethings. It's hard to make schedules line up. And if something came up and one particular player, my friend who initially brought me to the group, wasn't able to join, it turned into DM viciously attacking them. She would turn absolutely wicked with her personal attacks to this player because they had work or couldn't make it to whatever personal reason. But we were the bad guys because we were all like, dude, D&D doesn't pay the bills. Our work comes first. Our entire life does not revolve around this game. This happened not once, but twice. So yeah, we all left. As far as I know, the campaign ended there, as we were the only 3 that showed up regularly and she was left with just Dickhead. Am I crazy, or was this just bad DMing? I commented this on another post, but as I was reading it back, it was just way too bizarre not to post alone. Anybody else have an experience like this? This is normal for D&D, right? This is definitely not normal for D&D. The DM is clearly the problem, Richard is clearly the problem, and you guys leaving is the best thing you could do for yourself. So I'm glad you left. I really wish I would have left sooner because holy shit, this is some terrible DMing. And protecting the problem player, you not only have a problem player, but you also have a problem DM. Both are just weird. One is just being a dickhead for the sake of being a dickhead and also a creep. And the DM is also kind of a creep, actually very much a creep, for supporting SA in their games and saying that this is D&D. D&D is not SA. You can have some sexual themes, you can have some abusive themes, but you gotta make sure you talk to your players in session 0 and everybody agree on what themes are okay to have in-game. Sometimes you may want to have some grim or dark themes, but everybody gotta be in a know for these kind of things and consent to this sort of thing, because there's nothing weirder than having to run a weird, gross fetish game, and you were the only one that chose to run it because you never checked with anybody else at the table, and now everybody is grossed out, everybody feels uncomfortable, you can't read the room because you're a fucking simpleton DM, and you don't know what the fuck is going on, and you just go with this shit show, and and everybody else is just like, they just have the face in their hands and just like, please just stop, please just end, this is just so bad. If you want to run these sort of themes, get that stuff checked out at session 0. Simple as that. If you want to have these sort of themes and you find players that are okay with these running these sort of themes, you run whatever game you want, just check that stuff out at session 0, man. What is this DM doing? What an idiot DM. Anyway, I'm glad you guys left the game, because holy crap, dealing with a problem player and a problem DM, nuts. I wish you all the best with your games, and yeah, avoid any problem DMs and problem players like this forever. Just simple as that. Just avoid them forever. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.